Alright, I just had to talk about how fucking goofy this is. If you're a dumb person, you might just get mad, but if you're smart and are aware of how things are going over the last several years, at this point, you just gotta laugh it off because nothing's getting better, it's always getting worse. Welcome to the first video of 2024. It's the next level of hell. Anyway, so to start it off, let's go into a very unsurprising story. So some woman in Toronto back in November was renting out half of her bed. Now, this is... we know how things are. Over here in Canada, things went way downhill starting in 2015 when Trudeau took over, obviously. Just like how... well, everything went downhill when SJW culture took over in 2013, but things started getting really bad in the US since Biden took over. Here, it's when Trudeau took over. That's why things are worse here in Canada compared to the US, because we started getting worse earlier than America did, and you had Trump to fix some stuff, well, right? So anyway, we know how rent is. Some of the most expensive cities in the world are, of course, New York, London, Toronto. Although Toronto isn't deserved because Toronto's a shithole. I mean, Toronto is basically just the cleaner version of New York. So you think, well, Matt, wouldn't that make New York the shithole? No, don't get me wrong, New York is a shithole. But for different reasons. New York is physically dirtier, and Toronto is just nothing. Like, there's nothing here. It just fucking sucks. Unless you want to go see the CN Tower. Like, that's basically it. There's, like, no jobs here. The people here are fucking horrible. It's just crap. Anyway. So... now, I don't live in Toronto. I live in a city just outside of Toronto. I'm not going to say which one, obviously, but I don't actually live in Toronto. But rent is horrible everywhere. I mean, I am actually lucky as fuck to have this apartment. I'm actually paying about $500 underneath the average for my city and location and the like where we are in life in 2020. I moved in April of 2023, so at the time, I'm way under, and now I'm even more under, because I'm pretty sure it's gone up even higher. So I'm probably 600 under the average now. But yeah, like, when you're trying to find apartments over here, and this probably applies to wherever you live as well, when you're apartment hunting, I mean, the kind of ads you see are, like for rental properties, the ads you see are fucking disgusting. You got people renting out a closet for like $2,000 and there's mold everywhere. Or they'll pack 3 beds into a small-ass room and go, hi, beautiful room where you can share with 2 other people. Like, fuck off, right? But people are so desperate for homes, and landlords are such scum that they'll actually charge this and do it with things like a bedroom, a closet, no bathroom, no kitchen, just no washer and dryer. Just really fucked up things, and charging like $2,000. Now, obviously, the highest rent is in New York. In New York, you will rent... not, like, over here, when people say, I'm renting a closet, it's usually a joke to say, like, it's small, but it's not a literal closet. But in New York, you will actually rent out a closet, and it's like $3,000. It's really fucked up in New York. Like, why anybody would want to do that, I don't know, but then again, New York is a heavily blue state filled with SJWs like California, so it's obviously people want to be there because they're dumb, so they don't use their brain. Anyway, but over here, we are not as bad as New York, but we're close. We're close enough, right? I mean, let's just stop talking and go through this article. Internet shocked as woman offers to rent out half of her bed for $658 USD. Okay, I don't know why it's in US. It's a fucking Canadian thing. Anyway, in Toronto, which reportedly ranks as the second most expensive housing market in Canada, correct? I believe number 1 is Vancouver. The average cost of a 1-bedroom property is $2,614, yeah? And you can thank Trudeau for that, in the same way you can thank Biden for the rent crisis over there. Do you know what the average rent was over here in 2014, 1 year before Trudeau took over? $700. $700. Trudeau has tripled it. Tripled. People often, even Pierre Poilievre, when he complains about Trudeau, will say the housing market has doubled. Trudeau has doubled prices. I'm sorry, Pierre, but the one time you're actually wrong is that Trudeau has actually tripled prices. But anyway, yeah, it's sickening. And you know what's funny, too, is that So if you want to know some facts about just how bad it really is, did you know that a person today, to be at the exact same place that the average person was 20 years ago, has to work four, yes, four full-time jobs if they want to be at the same place that the average person was at 20 years ago? And it's crazy because in your head, when you hear, oh, 20 years ago, it would have been that easy, your mind processes like 1970 or 1980 until you realize that wasn't 20 years ago. That was 40, 50 years ago. That's how fucking bad it is. But yes, that's the reality. For an average person today be at the same place as an average person 20 years ago, you have to be working four full-time fucking jobs. It's just wonderful. A woman's offer to rent out half her bed amid soaring house rents in Toronto has surprised social media users. I don't know why you'd be surprised anymore, but whatever. Toronto-based realtor Anya at... Seriously? uh... So anyway, Edinger highlighted a post that was shared on Facebook Marketplace where a person had offered to rent out half a bed for 900 Canadian dollars or 658 US dollars a month. $900. 900 Canadian fucking dollars. I used in 20 from 2014 to 2019, I had a you guys saw it in my old videos. I had a beautiful basement with a bedroom, my own bathroom, my own kitchen, fairly big, and a washer and dryer just outside my door that I shared with one person on the other side of the wall. And I was paying $750. $750. Looking for an easygoing female to share the master bedroom and the one queen-sized bed? You know what's sad? A little bit of a side note, but this all ties into how fucked up renting is that so many ads are sexist. Obviously, we don't have to fucking say that. Anybody with a brain knows that. But most ads will say female only, female only, female only, female only. I guess we're trying to push the statistic of homelessness even further on men, and then say that men aren't suffering. But yeah, like, and I mean, this is a woman sharing her bed. Obviously, she's not going to want to share it with a man. But if she did, she'd have a lot of offers. Well, which only had one queen size. Okay, if you're gonna share a bed, like, it's fucked up to share a bed, obviously. But if you are going to do that, the least you could do is get a king, as you could put like a wall of pillows between you or something. Good lord. With a roommate I found on Facebook, and it worked out perfectly well. The post, which has now been deleted, read, she shared the post on Instagram. Shocked, she remarked. Just when you thought the Toronto market couldn't get any worse, it did. This is so unhinged. Renting out a space in your bed for $900 a month? No wonder so many people hate it here. Well, there's many reasons why, but yes, that is one of them. I'm gonna skip past the video. Speaking with CTV News Toronto, she said, I think it shows really how sad it is here. I mean, people are, rightfully so committed to staying in this city that there is a market for stuff like this. Incorrect. Okay, so we have something factually incorrect for me to debunk as opposed to just laugh at. For some reason, she believes that people want to be here. Actually, in the last, I think it's been like 4 years is how far the stats go back, maybe 4 or 5. But people are, not just Toronto, but Ontario as a whole, like the whole province. People have been rushing out of Ontario at a rapid rate, and even immigrants. This is how bad it is, okay? Because I talk to a lot, I know a lot, I see the stats, and also in reality. Do you have any idea how many immigrants come here? It could be Canada as a whole, or Ontario as a whole, but even specifically the GTA. Do you know how many fucking people come here? Immigrants. With this idea that was true 15 years ago, that I come to Canada looking for a better life and a great job and making some money and making my dream come true. Do you know how many of them actually say that now that they're here, they regret coming here, they want to go back home because it was better, or they actually do go back home, and they hate Canada that much? Because they weren't aware, like, before Trudeau took over, so it's only been 2015. If you look at Canada in 2014, 2013, 2012, and anything before, you would think that Canada is fantastic. And you know why? Because it was. This was a great country. Immigration here was massive and still is. But it was because Canada was a great place to come. And the people who come here from India, the Philippines, Africa, they aren't aware of what's happened in just the last 8 years. So they think that Canada is still a great country. I personally know several who don't even want to be here anymore. They'd rather go back to the country that they fled from. That's how fucking bad it is here. And then, of course, you got the people who are already here, like citizens, and are moving because the population of people moving out of Ontario is massive, either leaving the country as a whole or just leaving Ontario and going to, like, Alberta, for example. It's a massive stat. So no, people are not committed to to staying here. Now, if people are staying here, like myself, do you know why that is? Because it ain't because we fucking like it. It's because we are struggling to find other options. We don't know which options are better. We don't have the money to move or the means to move or something like that. Or even the motivation to move. That's why people stay. Now, a lot of people have left, as I said, but for the people who want to leave but haven't, that's the fucking reason why. Truthfully, you know, with the other videos I posted too of absurd rentals, people just saying, well, just don't rent it. Oh, just don't rent it! Okay, dumbass, what's the option to just don't rent it? Be homeless? Now, before some absolute goober says, we'll rent a cheaper place. There is nothing cheaper. That's the fucking price shit goes for here. Shock users commented on her post, with one saying, not only is the listing absurd, but what's more appalling is that she's looking for a replacement, meaning someone, somewhere, thought this was okay and she rented the space. That's weird, one user said, while another wrote, so ridiculous. But you know what, though, with how many people are homeless right now and desperate, I'm not surprised if somebody took that bed. I'm really fucking not. That's why this is not surprising if you understand reality like me. It's funny, but it's not fucking surprising. Anyway, yeah, so that's the rental market, which I don't talk about very much in my videos because I don't really need to, but this was a unique story. Not a surprising one, but it is unique regardless. And I hope you enjoyed it. Fuck Trudeau.